Sheikh Al-Mahmud Al-Hafyan, 1919-1973. One of the influential figures of the Samaniya Tariqa in the realm of mystical knowledge was Sheikh Al-Mahmud Al-Hafyan, 1919-1973, the author of Al-Wasiyya, the Bequest, and Nazarat بالتصوف الإسلامي, Perspectives on Islamic Mysticism. Sheikh Al-Mahmud Al-Hafyan made significant contributions in linking Sufism with modern science and addressing certain aspects of Sufism in a manner consistent with Islamic law. If you have the opportunity to read him, you will see him discussing themes related to traditional Islamic teachings, like in his book Ijarat al-Fikr, while he also discusses philosophical and mystical issues in other authoring books, such as Al-Wasiyya. But as the subject matter specialist, he bridged the gap between the two schools in an understandable and educational manner. In his authoring books, he tackled many issues that had long preoccupied people's minds regarding specific aspects of Sufism, issues that most Islamic Sufi leaders tended to avoid discussing. He examined these matters in his book نظرات في التصوف الإسلامي, Perspectives on Islamic Mysticism, an introduction and explanation. When many scholars from Egypt, Iraq, and other countries read the books of the Sheikh, they assumed he was of Al-Azhar graduates or one of the ancient universities of the East graduate. However, they were utterly astonished when they realized that this encyclopedic author had rarely left Tabat. His son and his Khalifa after him, the late Sheikh Jaili, used to say, one of the Sudanese universities in a commendable gesture awarded my father, Sheikh Al-Hafyan, an honorary doctorate for just one of the 10 books in Nazarat التصوف الإسلامي. Just one of the 10 books in the Nazarat of التصوف الإسلامي series. Had they read all the 10, they would have awarded him a doctorate for each one of them. Following this brief introduction, here I would like to present the audience in this episode one of significant, influential Sudanese Sufi scholars and thinkers that had provided the Sufi and Islamic library in the Islamic world with the precious of authoring books. So our personality is Sheikh Al-Mahmud ibn Sheikh Abdul Qadir Jaili, one of the grandson of the founder of the Sudanese Samaniya, Sheikh Al-Tayyib al-Bashir. So his family lineage, his education, his contributions, his authoring books, in addition to his legacy, will be the focus of our presentation in this episode. Family and lineage. Sheikh Al-Mahmud Al-Hafyan was born in 1919 in the city of Tabat in central Sudan. His full name is Sheikh Al-Mahmud ibn Sheikh Abdul Qadir Jaili ibn Sheikh Al-Mahmud ibn Sheikh Al-Daim ibn Sheikh Al-Tayyib, the founder of the Sudanese Samaniya. He is better known as Al-Hafyan, literally barefooted. His family lineage ends with Imam Abdullah ibn Abbas. So he is a member of the Ja'aliyun tribe. He belongs to the Tayyibian family, which has a long and well-established history in terms of science, society, religion, and spirituality. Its tremendous gallery, righteousness, spiritual guidance, and scholars are all to the family credit. So he just, what I would like to say is that Sheikh Al-Mahmud Al-Hafyan was born in Tabat, and Tabat, by the way, it is the center that have been established, the Sufi famous center that have been established by his grandfather, Sheikh Al-Mahmud Sheikh Nur-Daim. So he was born there, and he went better known with Al-Hafyan, the bare-footed. And in other words, he, as I have stated, he belongs to the family of Sheikh Ahmad al-Tayyib, which is known in the Sudanese setting or in the Sudanese society as the Tayyibian family. This family, to its credit, the establishment as well as the dissemination of Islam and Tasawwuf in the country. They have their own great contributions in religion, in spirituality, in righteousness, spiritual guidance, and on authoring books. His religious education. As the traditional norms with the scholarly and religious families, Sheikh Al-Mahmud Al-Hafyan began his religious education at the religious center of his grandfather, Sheikh Al-Mahmud Al-Tabat. For when he was less than 15 years old, and under Sheikh Fadl al-Mula ibn al-Khalifa al-Jumu'i, memorized the Holy Quran by the two narrations of the narration of Ad-Duri and Abi Hafs. And from his early childhood, he was known for his zeal for religious learning. And in this regard, he went on companionship to erudite scholars at his own time from Sudan and elsewhere. And he was enrolled in Tabat Scientific Institute, which was established by his father, the scholar Sheikh Abdul Qadir al-Jaili, in 1937. At the age of 18, he became an active member with regular attendance at his father's scientific session, which used to be held every evening in the Sufi Center at Tabat. However, he expanded his knowledge, and in this regard, he studied the mother of Imam Malik fiqh books. And in this concern, I would like just here to point out to the books that he had studied as a part of Imam Malik Mazhab. And in this point, I would like to state Matn Risala, that is famous epistle or treatise of the scholar Abi Muhammad Abdullah ibn Abi Zayd al-Qirawani. In addition, he further also studied Aqrab al-Masalik ila Mazhab al-Imam Malik. And as we know, this had been authored by the Qutb, Ahmad ibn Muhammad al-Adawi, known as Ad-Dirdir. Furthermore, he studied in the very same line of the Maliki Mazhab. He studied Muqtasar Khalil, which is the author Khalil ibn Ishaq al-Maliki. So this is just part of the foundation of the Maliki Mazhab book. And by the way, he studied this book in addition to its commentaries. So, by the way, he is a man of knowledge, very interested and show interest and self-determination and love for knowledge and science from early of his own time. And as we have stated earlier, that he started and began his religious journey by the memorization of the Holy Quran at his grandfather Khalwa in Tabat, and further went on to expand his knowledge by studying the different and the fundamental books of Imam Malik, and further he expanded his knowledge by receiving knowledge from scholars that used to visit Tabat from outside Sudan, as we are going to see later. So here, just I would like to say, he attained, Sheikh Al-Mahmud Al-Hafyan attained fiqh, science, theology, and prophetic hadith studies under his father, the scholar and the Gnostic, Sheikh Abdul Qadir al-Jayli. Al-Hafyan had come to accompany the scholar Sheikh Abdullah al-Khabir, who was one of his grandfather's famous students during his visit to Tabat. Also, he accompanied Sheikh al-Islam Muhammad al-Badawi. Furthermore, Al-Hafyan had took from this notable scholar, that is Muhammad al-Badawi, took from him good knowledge in the ilm and on the usul, or the fundamentals of the Islamic creed. He also sat down with Sheikh Muhammad al-Hafiz al-Tijani, the famous Tijani and the famous Egyptian scholar. While Tijani was in his visit to Tabat, so that is in 1948, Sheikh Al-Hafyan had accompanied him and sat down and receiving from him knowledge. While At-Tijani, Sheikh Muhammad al-Hafiz al-Tijani, authorized Al-Hafyan in his fiqh books in addition to his prophetic tradition hadith writings. However, he was also authorized by the Sheikh of Al-Azhar, Muhammad Mustafa Al-Maraghi, in what his Sheikh before him had authorized. So this is, by the way, the journey of Sheikh Al-Mahmud Al-Hafyan with knowledge. And as we have come across these points, we found him starting his religious education in Khalwa, and then he went on to accompany erudite and the notable scholars at his own time from Sudan and outside the country. In addition to that, and for a very long time, he used to accompany his father, the scholar, Sheikh Abdul Qadir al-Jayli, and he was a member of his religious scientific sessions that used to be held in Tabat Center in central Sudan. Sufi Sanad. In terms of his chance of spiritual transmission or Sanad, Sheikh Al-Mahmud Al-Hafyan has been initiated into the Samaniya under his father, the perfect wali, the Gnostic, Sheikh Abdul Qadir al-Jayli. And intense, Sheikh Abdul Qadir al-Jayli, by the way, he is a student to his own father, Sheikh Al-Mahmud. And Sheikh Al-Mahmud has been authorized in the Samani under Sheikh Al-Qurashi Wad-Zain, the perfect wali and the student of Sheikh Ahmad Al-Tayyib Al-Bashir. So Sheikh Al-Mahmud Al-Hafyan went on the same line in his Sufi Sanad with the lines and the Sanad of his own fathers. And in this regard, and as we have pointed out and presented in our presentation and introduction to the Sammaniya Sufi order, the Sammaniya have been consist of 5 turuq, that is the Qadiriya, Naqshbandiya, Khalwatiya, in addition to Muwafaqa and Anfas Tariqa. So Sheikh Al-Mahmud Al-Hafyan has been authorized in these 5 turuq under his own father, Sheikh Abdul Qadir al-Jayli. the teacher at the center. His father, Sheikh Abdul Qadir al-Jayli, had made him a teacher at Tabat Intermediate Institute, which was established in 1949. And because of his vast knowledge, he taught comparative fiqh. He further is taught at the very same place or the very same center the usul of fiqh and the prophetic hadith. He remained in the institute up to 1966. He also used to teach as a Masid of Sheikh Al-Mahmud during the lifetime of his father, and replaced him in the year 1959 and continued to take up the mission to 1972, the year that he had passed away recently. So, by the way, here what I would like to say is that Sheikh Al-Mahmud, after he finished his journey, his religious education journey at his own father and grandfather center, that is, I'm referring here to Tabat Masjid, Sheikh Al-Mahmud initiated the mission of teaching, and he was a teacher at the Tabat Intermediate Institute, which was established in 1949, and he further went on to be a teacher at the same time, presenting lesson at his own grandfather center in Tabat. And here he came further to replace his father as a teacher at Masjid of Sheikh Al-Mahmud in 1959 and continued till his passing away in 1972. Gentle dialogue with his father. In this part of the episode, I would like here just to present a dialogue that had been taken place between the father and the son. I'm pointing out here to Sheikh Al-Mahmud Al-Hafyan with his father, Sheikh Abdul Qadir al-Jayli. So, in this dialogue, we will experience how Sheikh Al-Mahmud was so interested to go outside the country so as to pursue his education mainly in Al-Azhar al-Sharif. So just here I would like to quote part of the dialogue that had been taken place between the father and the son. Sheikh Abdul Qadir al-Jayli, no doubt, has led a prophetic school that graduate student armed with the taste certificate based on the experience taste. His righteous son Al-Hafyan, the writer of Al-Mazarat, has emphasized this fact as in the following dialogue. While concealing my interest, I debated him the idea of receiving the ilm in one of its formal unofficial institutes. This was in the year 1927. Knowing my desire and motive, he said to me, "You will never find the knowledge that you lack here," said he. The institutes are organized and the study there is so formal, I said. I will not let you feel with confusion in your study as long as you are with me here, he said. I concealed the real target, that is the certificate. The masjid is so full with the fugara as well as the students, and you may get busy of me because of them, or I may get busy of you because of them also, I stress. They are part of your educational method, so keep patient with them, and you may gain the courtesy and manners in their company, and here nothing of knowledge will be past you. till you gain the knowledge, till you gain it. Emphasis he. There is no organized certificate in the formal study, I said. And here went in unusual but strong glance and said, "O my son, what the paper serves you. Learn the ilm for Allah. Learn the knowledge for Allah, and He will suffice you. And the person obtaining this to the certificate did not indicate that he is scholar. Maybe the certificate among the sons of this age avail of the true authentic knowledge. And then whatsoever highest degree of the certificate reached is no more than a paper." He went further, the father went further and added, "I look forward to you gaining the testful certificate. I look forward to you gaining the testful certificate, الشهادة الزوجية, from the educational college that joined by the prophetic school in which the human graduates as the divinely human. And you are here with me in one of the prophetic educational colleges, which intakes the scholars and non-scholars. And the scholars are invited to join and being graduated from. With more certainty, mainly the certificate holders who suffice with the name of knowledge, and of the scholars with their attire. O my son, let me of stating the certificate paper and find yourself a set of food. A set of food to gain a sublime noble certificate from honorable and pious. From the honorable and pious. من الكرام البررة. Prophecies come true. Out of his experience as a spiritual guide, a scholar, Gnostic, by the way, Sheikh Al-Mahmud Al-Hafyan read the circumstances of the Muslims in the 1960s and came up with the following predictions. So just here I would like to quote his saying, his exact words describing the Muslim situation, the Muslim circumstances, mainly in the context of the science and the scholars. So let us have his own words. Never in history caused harm to Islamic da'wah other than the devastation and suffering caused by such preachers who believe in the harshness and hardship, who believe in harshness and hardships, are jealous to the right, and the hardship of heart and lack of courtesy or misconduct, strength in the right, while filthy speech and moral decay are animosity against enemies and anger toward unbelievers and infidels. The one recites the Quran, but it will not reach beyond their throat. Mere talk. The one gets out of religion just like a hare falls out of kneading bread. Despite this, the face to him is what he said, and expect this is innovation and misguidance. Furthermore, if you ask him about the foundations of his aqidah or the creed, he will show disbelief and express abandonment and desertion. and desertion, which is what he believes by. We seek refuge of Allah from knowledge which does not benefit, and from the heart that does not entertain the fear of Allah. So this is just, by the way, his views towards the dilemma that Muslim community, Muslim Ummah confronted during 1960s. So from that time on, he make his own prediction that the Ummah problem is there with the preachers, who always very hard on others, taken whatever so outer in the base of depicting non-Muslim as invaders, or even Muslim as invaders, outwardly. And by the way, this is really a dilemma. His grandfather Sheikh Ahmed Tayyib had addressed the same issue in his Sufi teachings when he referred to scholars who exhibit an outward display of devotional excellence but lack sincerity and faithfulness. He called such scholars the ignorant faqih, whose knowledge is in his tongue rather than his heart. His Sufi doctrine. About his Sufi doctrine, it is not an exceptional doctrine from the doctrine of Tasawwuf in general and of his own Tariqa Samaniya in particular. For the abiding with Sharia, following the Quranic teachings and the prophetic Sunnah, is a line that he went on through, following the strong foundation of the founders of Tasawwuf to the Islamic mysticism in its beginning. And here, just I would like to say that the Sufi doctrine, mainly the founders of the doctrine, has emphasis that the Sufi doctrine is the doctrine that based on abiding with Sharia, following the Quranic teachings and the prophetic Sunnah. So Hafyan doctrine is not exception in this regard. And by the way, here I would like to say that he expressed his doctrine in his varied authoring books. So reading him, you will touch and you will experience that he is so strongly calling upon the adherents, the followers, to abide with Sharia, following the Quranic teaching and the prophetic Sunnah, in addition to the way of the predecessor, mainly those of his own Tariqa founders. His authoring books. In this part of the episode, I would like us here to present the scholarly work of Sheikh Al-Mahmud Al-Hafyan, for he is a scholar, prolific writer, has provided the Sufi and Islamic library with the precious and masterpieces, both in prose and poetry. And here, just I would like to say that because of the experience of the scholar, Gnostic and perfectly joining by the two sciences, the science of Sharia and Haqiqa and Tariqa, he come up with masterpieces tackling different genres in the Islamic mysticism. Not only Islamic mysticism, but also in Islamic teachings. So just here I would like to point out by reviewing some of Sheikh Al-Mahmud Al-Hafyan's scholarly works, I draw some conclusions on the contributions that Sheikh has made. and how this impacted on the society of the 20th century, Sudan and beyond. Add to the above of Al-Hafyan scientific contribution to Tariq or the Sufi path is so many of the manuscripts covered the areas of Tariq's pioneers, biographies, fiqh, hadith, and poems. So just here, this is the main areas that Sheikh Mahmoud Al-Hafyan has debated and has tackled. Furthermore, he has written masterpieces in each one of them. So he has written the biographies of the Tariqa founders. In addition to that, he has written in fiqh, Islamic jurisprudence. Furthermore, he has written also in the prophetic hadith. And moreover, he also has written in Tasawwuf. And in Tasawwuf, by the way, he has a Gnostic. Out of his writing, he exhibit the Gnosis, the Islamic Gnosis, the Sufi Gnosis, in a wide, beautiful, elegant style. And here just what I have pointed out is regarding the prose. So he also written poetic diwans. And in this regard, as we are going to see, how beautiful he is in terms of style, in terms of the thematic meaning that he had tackled in his poetry writing. To mention part of his authoring, just I would like here to point out to his 10 series of نظرات في التصوف الإسلامي. It is of 10 volumes. To mention part of these 10 volumes, the first part التصوف الإسلامي المصطلح والمفهوم. The second part أطوار التصوف الإسلامي. Part 3 البيئة والسماع. The fourth volume as part of نظرات في التصوف الإسلامي مواسم وأعراف. The fifth volume طهر وصلاة. The sixth part of the series of نظرات في التصوف الإسلامي التصوف الإسلامي المنهج. The seventh part التصوف الإسلامي العطاء. The eighth parts قضايا العرفان الصوفي part 1. The ninth part قضايا التصوف قضايا العرفان الصوفي part 2. And the 10th one is tackling the area of references. His book Al-Wasiyya, The Bequest, has been published in English with 6 editions. Furthermore, he has another authoring that is إجالة الفكر, and then also he has an authoring targeting the biography of his father, Sheikh Abdul Qadir Al-Jili, حياته وآثاره. So part of his authoring books have been printed and in circulation, while some others still manuscripts. So as an encyclopedic writer, to his own credit, more than 30 authoring books in different and varied genres of Islamic teachings and tasawwuf. The Garnet Publishing Limited, which has published his masterpiece Al-Wasiyya in 2007, wrote about him and said, "A great Sufi leader, an accomplished Maliki scholar, a poet and an erudite spiritual writer, the late Sheikh Al-Mahmud Al-Hafyan of Tabat, 1919-1973, author of the Bequest, Al-Wasiyya, left a great legacy of scholarly works in all fields of the traditional Islamic sciences. Yet, although his contributions to the science of the Sharia are outstanding, it is his contributions in the field of Haqiqa that most highly rank him among the most distinguished of Sufi Muslims. Furthermore, the publishing house that has printed or published his masterpiece, Al-Wasiyya, describe him that he is a great man, and he is not only written for Muslims nor Samanis, rather he has written for all humanity. Al-Hafyan was one of those who possesses the rhetoric and sweet tongue, rare to be found in his peers, for his speech is the speech of the Gnostic, and the one who decodes the secrets. So he authored so many varied books. Its major thematic feature is Irfan or Gnosis, a portrait of a revivalist Sufi scholar. In his Revivalism project, Sheikh Al-Mahmud Al-Hafyan solely has based on the teachings of Islam as contained in the Quran and the prophetic traditions. Thus, we find the importance of sacred knowledge, ilm, being very prominent in the teachings of the Sheikh. His emergence represents a surprise to the scientific circles in Sudan, despite he did not cross 54 years of age, for he was born in 1919 and passed away in 1973. But he left behind to the Islamic, and more specifically the Sufi thought, more than 30 authoring books. The most notable of these is his series نظرات في التصوف الإسلامي, which includes 10 volumes. Average of each one of them is more than 400 pages. What draws the attention of Al-Hafyan's writings is his methodological tendency that he is known with. Moreover, he is an encyclopedic, strong in argument, setting to his thoughts and ideas and arguments, and dialogue with others upon marvelous scientific, legal, and ethical basis. This backed up with a unique language, also a distinct dictionary. If you read him, you will find him debate Sheikh Ibn Taymiyyah and those of the people of ilm, and you will experience him disagree with them in sama', audition, and bi'a, environment issues, but with respect and courtesy, putting the concern of proving the favor and ilm to them, adding to everyone who disagreed with him or who disagreed with them. But in all that, he is very concerned of presenting science, ilm, moderate and interesting, wide, just dialogue. When the Egyptians as well as the Iraqis have read his books, they consider him an Azhari or the Oriental or Ancient Oriental University's graduate. And in this, they have argued his son Sheikh Al-Jaili, but to their surprise, they come to realize that this encyclopedic author had rarely left Tabat, his homeland. Today, any seeker of an all inclusive and informative book on Sufism would be well advised to get hold of the books written by Sheikh Al-Hafyan. His most famous book is the series of Nazarat. This work is not a commonplace book on the subject of Sufism, referring here to the book or the series of Nazarat. The least that could be said to describe it is to say that it is both comprehensive and an in-depth treatment of the subject. The subject here referring to tasawwuf. Definitely, it is not an elementary or intermediate analysis or discussion. It is as demanding and mind, booking as advanced and extremely serious work can be. This is an encyclopedic endeavor that can stand for alone in the defense of the legitimacy and certainty of the idea of Sufism in Islam. Sufis do not just aspire to the basic levels of learning and education, but to most demanding levels of education and knowledge. The acquisition that Sufism is a religious practice that befits only the deprived and the ignorant is a crippled discussion or is a crippled accusation. Sheikh Al-Mahmud's works on Sufism are considered a core factor in understanding of his philosophical thoughts. Al-Hafyan works are written in accordance with the Quran and the Sunnah and mainly cover the principles of Sufism. While Al-Hafyan was, of course, primarily remembered as a Sufi, his scholarship was imprinted by a long engagement with the broader scholarly tradition, including Islamic mysticism issues, Islamic teachings, and theology. By most accounts, Al-Mahmud Al-Hafyan stands as one of the towering figures of second half of the 20th century Sufism in Sudan. Like his ancestors, Al-Hafyan also made a remarkable great scientific contribution through his series of authoring and writings. And here, I would like to say that he has been described as a revivalist. That is because the issues that has debated in his own books, in his own authoring, indicated the true meaning of revivalism, a renewal in tasawwuf, putting in consideration that he is an echo to his grandfathers, Sheikh Al-Mahmud and Sheikh Al-Tayyib, a scientific contribution. By the way, he went on reviving what issues that have tackled during their own time, while from his own part, he debated issues, modern issues, even having to be a headache to scientific scholars at our own time. If you have taken, for example, his own authoring book, Al-Bi'a was-Sama', he debated the issue in so more modern perspective. And because of this, he has been awarded PhD in 2001 from Nilin University out of his debating, out of his tackling to the issues of environment in more modern perspective. His legacy. Sheikh Al-Mahmud Al-Hafyan is the most renowned of Sudanese Sufis, authors of books in general and the Sammaniya in particular. And his legacy is immense, magnified, and encompassing. In his masterpiece and foundation book of aphorism, The All-Merciful Breath in the Human Form, his grandfather, the Qutb Sheikh Al-Tayyib, discussed and debated the concepts and issues of Sharia, Tariqa, and Haqiqa. Among the most eloquent writers, in my opinion, is Sheikh Al-Mahmud Al-Hafyan. So as I have stated shortly, that Sheikh Al-Mahmud Al-Hafyan, by the way, he came at his own time reviving the ideas that already have been debated earlier by his grandfathers, mainly Sheikh Al-Mahmud and Sheikh Al-Tayyib. So in this concern, he is an echo, as I have stated, and presenting Sheikh Al-Tayyib mainly his book, The All-Merciful Breath in the Human Form, النفس الرحمن في الطور الإنساني, we found that Sheikh Al-Tayyib has debated issues that have been debated for the first time in Sudanese Sufism. So Sheikh Al-Mahmud Al-Hafyan went further at his own time after more than 200 years ago to debate issues while having his own time. In other words, he just went on to renew and to revive the issues that Islamic mysticism have taken previously, but he has taken them according to his own time requirements, according to the place where he is living. That is because Sudanese people, for the first time, come to be acquainted with the Islamic teachings, with Sufi mystical teachings, with the arrival of Sheikh Ahmad al-Tayyib, followed by his grandson, Sheikh Al-Mahmud, and finally by his grandson, Sheikh Al-Mahmud Al-Hafyan. Al-Hafyan writings should be introduced to non-Arabic speakers. They must be made available to English-speaking people. If the project is successful, its main ideas will be a benefit to all humankind, and it will be a significant addition and contribution to the Sufi Islamic library. He's passing away. Sheikh Al-Mahmud Al-Hafyan has passed away in 1973, having 28 years as a Khalifa in the center of the Sammaniya in Tabat. He came to be buried in Tabat, the center of his grandfather, Sammani Center, and come to be succeeded by his son, the late Sheikh Al-Jaili, and the current Khalifa now at the center is Sheikh Muhammad Sarur Al-Hafyan.